Oklahoma fans who are triggered that Jalen Hurts played football at Alabama need to get off my lawn.
Jalen Hurts, my quarterback.
For the record, I played at Michigan, so I have no dog in this Sooner versus Bama battle, but I do have the facts, which is what I tweeted this weekend. Jalen Hurts won an NFL playoff game, and he's the first Crimson Tide quarterback to do so since Richard Todd, who's my father-in-law, which is the only reason I even knew the stat. I never said Jalen Hurts didn't play at Oklahoma or claim him as more of a Tide quarterback than a Sooner. He had a great season at OU and got drafted from there. If someone tweeted that Jalen Hurts is the first Oklahoma quarterback to win an NFL playoff game since Baker Mayfield, I wouldn't have thought twice about it because it's a statement of fact, as was mine. Now, I don't understand why Georgia and Tennessee fans jumped in. They should remember losing to Jalen more than anyone. But Oklahoma fans came at me for blood. Look, I get it, Sooners. Lincoln Riley left for a different program. He took Caleb Williams, who won the Heisman Trophy. Spencer Rattler is having success at South Carolina. Your team lost to Texas this season, 49-0. It's an emotional time, but you're giving everyone serious Stage 5 clinger vibes like that redheaded chick from Wedding Crashers. You bring up Joe Burrow, who never started a game for the Buckeyes, and Cam Newton and Justin Fields, who never started at Florida or Georgia. It's ignorant and it's childish. Jalen Hurts was 26-2 at Alabama, the first freshman to ever start at quarterback for Nick Saban. He won a national championship. He graduated from there. His Senior Bowl helmet had both logos on it. Trying to erase history like that, that's something communists do. In the transfer portal era, we'll be seeing a lot of athletes play for multiple schools. Russell Wilson still threw touchdowns at NC State. Bo Nix won a lot of games for Auburn. Sam Hartman is about to transfer to Notre Dame. Does that negate the fact he's the all-time pass TD leader at Wake Forest? Shaq retired with the Celtics, but that doesn't make him any less of a Laker. It's time to grow up, and I cannot wait until Dylan Gabriel snaps some obscure UCF streak so I can let every single Sooner fan know about it. Until then, stay off my lawn.
Yeah,
Dave. You make good, very convincing arguments, and I see where you're coming from, but I disagree with you here. Now, Jalen and Jalen's a smart person, all right, smart business person. He's going to claim both.
Oh, yeah.
Because why would I not? It's just that's a rising tide helps all ships or whatever. Here is where I disagree because I think every instance is circumstantial. I think you have to look at, especially now with the transfer portal where you can just go basically wherever you want. You know, this was during a time where it was grad transfer, right? That was you get that extra year as a grad transfer to go somewhere. If you want to go to a bigger school or something, and you don't have to pay the price or there's no penalty, but you had to have graduated. The way that I look at it is like this. If Jalen Hurts does not leave Alabama to go to Oklahoma, he is not a second-round pick, and I don't think he plays quarterback. He probably would have been a backup wildcat quarterback at Alabama. They would have used in the red zone. Do they put him at running back? I think he would have been used kind of like Taysom Hill. I think it's the best way I can describe it at Alabama. And yes, he graduated from Alabama. That is very true. But he graduated from Alabama with a degree in communications. He got his PhD in quarterbacking at Oklahoma. Now, if he was a big-time analyst right now or a broadcaster or something in the communication realm, then I would say yes. That is Alabama all the way. He got his communication degree there, whatever. But he goes to Oklahoma, and he has these numbers. The most ever passing yards he has thrown for, 3,851. What's the most he ever threw for at Bama? 2,780. How many touchdowns at Bama? The most he ever had in a year? 23. He had 32 at Oklahoma. All right, when you look at the rushing, his senior year, he had 1,298 rushing yards. The most he added at Alabama was 954, 20 touchdowns on the ground, opposed to 13 at Bama. But we are talking about Jalen Hurts and his football career. I think Oklahoma, when it comes to giving credit for Jalen Hurts being drafted as a quarterback, being taken seriously as a quarterback, and being able to have the opportunity to step in for the Eagles, I don't think he gets that unless he goes to Oklahoma, if not just for the playing time at quarterback. But I can understand both sides of it. I think there's a logical argument on both sides of it. That's why, to me, it's circumstantial. You brought up Russell Wilson at NC State. That's another great example. I can still remember Russell Wilson from NC State, but the weird part of me remembers Russell Wilson in baseball from NC State, not football. I think of Russell Wilson as a Wisconsin quarterback, but I can see the argument on both sides. And it was.
But I never said he didn't play at Oklahoma.
No, I'm
That's
talking
my
about.
point. I never said he didn't have a good season at Oklahoma.
I'm not saying you did.
Like, that's my point. He broke an Alabama streak. I didn't even say Jalen Hurts, former Alabama quarterback, does such and such, because I would have given him credit for playing at Oklahoma. He snapped an Alabama streak, which is why I said that. Now, as far as the number, first of all, Jalen Hurts was going to play in the NFL if he never played at Alabama or anywhere, because he's that talented.
He'd be a starting
Would he been
quarterback
a
for the Eagles
second
right
round pick? I don't know. I don't know. As far as him having his best season over there, Lincoln Riley undoubtedly can develop quarterbacks. So he learned under his tutelage. So can Brian Daboll, apparently.
Oh, for sure.
And that was the OC for Jalen Hurts at Alabama. So he was getting good tutelage either way. It's just funny because if in any other situation where a great quarterback had a season putting up big numbers in the Big 12, you would have said it was because of weak defenses.
Oh, that had something to do with it.
But said stronger defenses in the SEC.
No, I agree with you.
That has to play into what we're talking about here. You're going to go to the
100%.
Big 12 and throw for 3,200 yards or whatever. Like, that has to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, but also, I mean, the crazy thing about that number is he actually had 42 less attempts his senior year at Oklahoma throwing the ball than he did in the most year at Alabama. I think.
But if someone put out,
dominated in the
hey,
run game.
former Jalen Hurts quarterback, or former Oklahoma quarterback Jalen Hurts broke some Oklahoma streak, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. I would have never responded.
Nobody. To me, that's what I'm saying. I think there's logical answers on both sides. But if we're talking about, do I view Jalen Hurts as an Alabama quarterback or an Oklahoma quarterback, or which school do I give the most credit for him being where he is now? I would lean Oklahoma for that reason. For it, like I said, at least for the exposure, because there was no way that he was going to start over Tua his senior year at Alabama. And the great part about it is, it worked out beautifully for him. He could not have made a better decision, and it worked out for Tua.
And Nick Saban helped him transfer to Oklahoma.
No, for sure, because Nick Saban
and the guy who started is the all-time
it
passing touchdown leader at Alabama.
For sure.
Not like some Joe Schmo just came in to be the
and
starter.
again, but the crazy part is, which one would you take in the NFL?
Well, Nick Saban's always playing chess when other people are playing checkers, and he knew the thing with me is Cone. It doesn't feel right to me, man. It just doesn't feel, because it's about who can claim who. And there's not really.
No, see, I don't think so. I'm not
saying that's what you're saying.
Right? Guy.
What you're saying is true about one of the games he played at Bama and Oklahoma. But the argument, really, especially on Twitter or social, who can claim them, right? And I can see, to me, when Oklahoma fans, it's almost about we're in a time now with the portal and stuff. It's almost like where you finish is where you can claim them. So that's why it's not where you start, but where you finish. And I understand he left Bama, and let's really think about it here. I mean, he got replaced at halftime. Tua came in and won. He sat for an entire year, then came back and had a big game late. And then after that, somewhat got ran out of town because he knew he wasn't starting. And we can say he went to Oklahoma, and just always know this about Nick Saban. All right, I know he loves Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a great guy. But there's one thing about Nick Saban is this. If there's an offense he was somewhat afraid of back in the day, it was that Lincoln Riley offense. And if he knew he sent Jalen Hurts to Oklahoma and he saw Oklahoma in the playoffs, they were going to whip their ass because Jalen Hurts couldn't throw him to a win. So I promise you, Nick Saban's always playing chess when other people are playing checkers. But at what point, because this argument is so malleable, there's not a concrete definition that we can put this on, right? So the only way I can see it is it's just about where you finish at. It's where you finish playing your college career at.
So let me ask you this. If Sam Hartman, who just transferred to
Notre Dame quarterback,
gets hurt in spring practice and can't play his senior year, but stays at Notre Dame through it, do you give Notre Dame credit for that?
If he doesn't play a single game?
Yeah, or if he plays one game and gets hurt on the third play. I don't want Sam to get hurt.
You almost have to. It's almost where you finish. All right, unless you want to put amount of games you have to play, or because the argument's just going to get so wild to where it just doesn't make any sense and people can just say anything. To me, it's about where you finish your college career at.
All right, so in the comments, tell us, where do you believe? Are you with Cone? Are you with me? Are you with Blaine? Because I feel like we're making three different arguments, which I think...
I'm making a factual statement. No one can say my statement's not factual. Jalen Hurts played quarterback at Alabama at some point in his lifetime. So in terms of talking about this word claim, like who gets to claim him, the kid's not a lottery ticket.
Well,
like, to make the statement, he's an Oklahoma quarterback. He still plays there?
That's what the
Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. Yeah, and it's a stupid argument. I'm not trying to claim the kid for anything. I'm a neutral party to this whole situation. Yeah. He played quarterback at Alabama sometime in his life, as Bo Nix did at Auburn. If Bo Nix goes and wins a Super Bowl in the NFL, I guarantee you are going to say former Auburn quarterback Bo Nix accomplished this feat, and you should. He's an Auburn guy.
I won't.
He's an Auburn guy. And Oregon can do the same thing.
He's an Oregon guy to me. He's not an Auburn guy.
Shaquille O'Neal retired as Celtic. Where do you think of Shaquille O'Neal dominating and playing? For the Lakers.
Well, see, maybe
it's the NBA. Like you,
the Lakers.
You left, bro.
For the Lakers.
You left. Like you broke up and now you're gonna claim him. Like you left. You left. I don't claim Bo Nix. Bo Nix should go win the Heisman.
He wore both
National
logos in the Senior Bowl.
And that's fine. It just seems desperate to me. It seems desperate. The kid left. He didn't finish his career at Bama. He left. He's an Oklahoma quarterback.
If I were an Alabama fan, or maybe for some Alabama fans, maybe, I'm just making a factual statement of the situation. The kid wore both logos in the Senior Bowl.
For sure. I get what you're
Which
saying.
was a brilliant move, by the way. I think that was an absolute
Again, he's playing chess. Jalen Hurts is playing chess.
I'm with you. Like, if Sam Hartman goes, and I know he's been in college for 13 years, but if he goes to the Senior Bowl, I would expect him to wear a Wake Forest and Notre Dame helmet. Look, I'd love to double up on NIL. Are you kidding me?
No,
you know what the funniest part of this whole situation was? I had no idea that firestorm was coming.
Oh, that's how it works.
I was just trying to make. I just had this stat because of my father-in-law, Richard. Joe Namath and Ken Stabler get so much love for Alabama quarterbacks. Richard held this record for NFL playoff win for like 40 years.
The part that
he got lost in all this.
The part that I think is hilarious is it made Barstool, and I've never even heard of the guy who wrote the article. I mean, he looks like the Tennessee fan version of Mincy. I mean, you know, just at the end of the day, I have no idea who that is. But he said something about front-running Alabama backers, and it talking about you saying that, and I'm like, it's like that part on Heavyweights when Tony Perkins is like looking at the kids, and he's like, I see the next president of the United States, and they're like, hey, he's British. It's like, you do realize David Cohn played quarterback at Michigan, and his father-in-law is Richard Todd. Do a little research, but Booster Club, what's going down?
All right, let's go to M. Hud. What's up, honey? So is Tom Brady a Patriot or a Buck? He won a Super Bowl with both teams.
You know,
to
me, I think we and I know the games are starting to get similar, whether it's college or the NFL, but I think the NFL, we know college football is a business, but the NFL, it's a little bit different when you go to teams. You don't pick the team you go to unless you're a Manning, and you can pick wherever you go. But outside of that family, you get drafted by a team. Mm-hmm. Then that team can it's a lot less out of your control. And I know once you get some cred in the league, you can do no trade clauses and things like that. But it's a lot more in your control in college because you're the one that's in charge of where you go, as opposed to the NFL where they can come and buy your contract out and you have to go to another team. So I think that's kind of apples and oranges when you're looking at pros to college. Now, if you're looking and saying, all right, do you consider Tom Brady a Patriot or a Buck just in the NFL, not compared to college? To me, I think it's where you were the most and where you kind of blew up at. That's to me, that's the Patriots. Tom Brady will always be a Patriot quarterback to me.
You know what's so funny? First of all, this whole situation with Jalen Hurts just speaks to how much class he has with the way that he still identifies with the Alabama program and has love for them. What would really complicate this whole thing, because Tom Brady left the Patriots, there was a little animosity, but he's always going to be a Patriot for life. He'll probably do a sign and he'll probably retire a Patriot. With Jalen Hurts, what would really make this situation tricky is if he didn't claim Alabama. You know, if he was really, you know, upset about the situation and was like, I'm just an Oklahoma quarterback. He still started 28 games and won a national championship. That would make it really
Who does he say in the intro?
High school.
He says high school.
Says it's high school, yeah. I'm telling you.
Again, man,
High IQ play, man.
He's smart.
High IQ play. Hey, YouTube, do us a favor. Go down there and subscribe. Turn that notification bell on and go ahead and hit that like button so you can make sure and follow all the content we drop. Great guests, talking every sport, and we don't hate you because of what you believe, which is a pretty good deal. We think you like it. So subscribe.